Hello out there in video land. Just give us a second here. We're going to get our radio going. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is your city, your voice coming to you live. And hey, hello out there in radio land.
Hello,
We
hello.
are on. We are on, Davy boy.
We are on. I better turn this off. I don't want it to interfere.
Well, you never know. Somebody might call you and give you some tips about city council today, because that's what the agenda is with Davy Wheeler here on your city, your voice. And of course, my name is Paul K. Lemire for the radio. If I didn't say it, or these guys out there know who I am by now. You see this ugly mug all the time. And of course, this is Wheels Dave Wheeler, my cohort when we do city council agenda reviews.
With not quite as ugly a mug, but
no, you're a good-looking guy compared to me. I've got a face made for radio.
Yeah,
that's what they told me. Everybody always told me.
I used to use that line too.
I know. Well, everybody does, because you know what? You're always self-conscious when you're on video. Some reason, everything you do is you can see, right? And radio, you just sit here and you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can sit here with your pants hanging on the ground. Who cares? You can't do that in radio.
Yeah, with video, you gotta you gotta have at least this many clothes on, right?
Well, thanks for coming in, Dave, and I appreciate everybody that's watching today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and also leave comments. Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. Leave comments, and we discuss them all the time after. Anyway, of course, we're doing this on Mondays now for a couple reasons. Number one, because when I put the video up, when I got into the video, we didn't really have time to put it on and have people see it. So that was kind of a bummer. They wouldn't have time to see it before the council meeting at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. It gets up about 3:30. And also, Lori Lococo, Councilor Lococo said, I can't watch the video because it's too late. I'm in the meeting by the time the video comes on. So we decided to move to a Monday, which Dave Wheeler said was common sense. We should have did it before. And you know what? He's right.
Thank you.
I don't usually say Dave's right about anything.
Yeah, that's true.
but I do agree with him on that one. And with the advent of video, of course, it made more sense. So let me get to my sponsors first, and then we're going to get into the agenda. It's kind of a short agenda today, so we'll have more time to jibber-jabber between items if you want to, because a lot of times I'm trying to rush through because there's so much going on, but today we have a little bit more time. So let's get to our sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and of course, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. And you look at the weather. What a beautiful day today.
80 degrees. Lovely. Yeah.
80 degrees out there. Everything looking good.
So if City Council really want to do anything, they would mandate this kind of weather for every October.
Change the name of the city to Miami so we get better weather.
Indeed.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter about that because we know what's coming up.
Indeed.
And we can't change it.
Old Man Winter is coming for his tourist season.
So in that regard, we have Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop offering a end of summer inspection. That's right. You bring your car in there, make an appointment, take it down there. He's going to check everything. He's going to check your brakes. He's going to check your suspension. He's going to check your tires. He's going to give your car a computer scan to make sure there's no error codes popping up that could break you down in the winter, which is a miserable way to break down. And also, he's going to check your fluids, lighting, and he's going to take your vehicle for a ride to listen for knocks and bumps, things that might give you trouble. When we get into January and Old Man Winter says, enough of this nonsense, I'm going to give you a little bit of it. So you want to take it there. And if you get in an accident, of course, a full body shop at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, he's going to take care of your car and send it out of his shop in showroom condition. Your car is going to be happy. You're going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. Wild Bill's, everybody's going to be happy. So just go and support our sponsors.
And I'll be happy for you.
And Dave's going to be, he's going to be happy for you. Regardless of what happens on November 5th, he's going to be happy for you. Hey, today's a political show.
It is indeed.
Yes, we're at City Council meeting talking about all these councilors. And I don't know, should I use nicknames today or should I stay away from nicknames?
I don't know. I kind of like the nicknames, but I don't know if it carries well with the people in our beloved council.
Well, you know what the problem is I'm so used to calling them these nicknames that it's like a natural thing. It's like, calling your mother mom.
Indeed.
I see the CEO stand up and I go, there's the penguin.
Yeah.
And then when he wears the pink jacket, I go, there's the pink penguin. Yeah. So there you
Well,
go.
as long as you clarify, I call Burgess the penguin, and that's all. Because new listeners may not know
Well,
who you're
that's true.
speaking of.
That's true. That's true. They don't have on their nameplates. They don't have the penguin
Yes, we have to give out a list of nicknames.
or nincompoop. They don't have that neither. So there's no, So we gotta let people know who we're talking about. Okay, so the agenda starts at 4 o'clock, of course, and you can watch it on NiagaraFalls.ca. You can watch it live streaming on YouTube, and on the odd occasion where Kojigo decides to air it, they will have it on their public channel on Kojigo TV. So you can watch your Kojigo cable if you want. There's where you see it. So they're going to start out with a call to order. Abby Kaba singing live in council chamber. She sings "Oh Canada." I always like to watch the people who sing "Oh Canada." I got to give them credit for getting up in front of a crowd, and it's always fun to watch them, and they get a nice applause. And it's something that's tough to do to sing in front of a crowd, so I give them credit for it. And they usually do a good job.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way of opening every council meeting. You have local kids, particularly local kids, the young people,
Oh
do that
Canada,
kind of thing.
oh Canada. And then, of course, we are going to have the land acknowledgement and traditional indigenous meeting opening. Um, Somebody from the indigenous community is on tape. Usually, they're not there live, and they give an address about native lands and blah blah blah, and all the other stuff. So we acknowledge that we took their land,
And we're
and they're
not
not
giving it
getting it
back.
back. Did you say that too?
Yep.
Oh, that was a stereo, baby. That was a stereo. And so they go. That's funny. So we go through that. We do this too much together, Dave. We know what each other's going to say now.
Oh no, a melding of the minds.
That's scary stuff right there. Now, 1.1, we get to the swearing in of Councillor Chris Dabrowski, of course, our illustrious mayor and councillor over the 50 years he's been in office, 50 maybe more, I don't know. Anyway, since 1968. And my thing is, I don't remember city council without Wayne Thompson. And with John Beam corrected me, or somebody corrected me anyway, saying, "Oh, don't you remember he was thrown out in '81 or '82 because of the Securities fiasco, and then then he lost to Southsea and he was out for a few years." I'm going, yeah, but I mean, really,
Overall,
yeah,
overall, he's been a presence.
and was he ever really out? Even if he's out, he's still there. You always see him and everything. He's been doing a lot of stuff for everybody over the years. So God bless him. Thank you for retiring though, because everybody has to hang up the skates, and there does come an expiry date.
You bet.
And you served us well. We love you for it, and happy retirement, and many more years to you, Wayne Thompson. But we get recycled Chris Dabrowski in. Of course, he got voted out last election because he was on council, and then they didn't reelect him. But because he came in ninth, he steps up into the slot. And at the end of the day, he's going to be the city councilor again. And then he's got to run for re-election when the next election comes up in 2026, so 2 years from now.
Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, congratulations, Chris. I mean, I don't really remember if you did anything while you were there the first round. I can't.
Oh, he got in trouble a couple of times, I think.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, and they don't have to give Chris Dabrowski it. That's kind of tradition, but they could have a by-election, or they could just appoint me.
That depends on the bylaws or the laws of the city.
I don't even know if it's that. I don't even know if it's maybe provincial or how
Is it
to
just
run
traditional?
It could be how to run municipalities. So they could probably just appoint. If they get a vote, they could just appoint anybody.
Well, this will prevent us having a costly by-election. That would draw. If this is the tradition of the town, and we don't have too much resistance toward it.
Yep.
After all, he was the ninth overall elected.
And that's tradition. We bring up the ninth. That's how Kim Crater got in. Kim Crater got in because somebody died. I think it was Charlie Cheeseman, if you remember Charles Cheeseman. I think it was him. One of those guys anyway.
Iannone got in. Carolyn Iannone got in when
Cummings? Patrick Cummings?
Yeah, he died. He
could be
passed
Patrick
away.
Cummings, yeah.
That was back when we had the war
system. So this isn't out of the ordinary. So anybody who's crying about it or says anything about it, this is kind of traditional how they do it. And if Wayne Campbell were to step down, or anybody else for that matter, due to health reasons, or they just didn't want to do it anymore, then Of course, it would be Vince Carriel that would be next in line to step into the position, but only for 2 years because next election he's got to run again like everybody else. Congratulations, Chris Dabrowski. You're back. I'm back. I didn't think he would take it.
Why?
Because he's got so much stuff going on with the Comic Cons and his new store, and he's running the one in Buffalo now. I mean, Chris is a really, really busy guy. And so I didn't know if he really would want it at this point, seeing as the moves he's made in business. But obviously he loves the city and he wants to get there and serve again. So good for him.
Well done.
And then
if he can handle it, well, you know what they say: if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
That's the truth. Okay, so we go to number 3 adoption of minutes. So they just adopt the minutes from last election, and then we go to number 3, disclosures of pecuniary interest. If there's any conflicts of interest or that kind of thing, they're declared right there. Then we go to the mayor's reports and announcements, and the mayor will tell us what's been going on in the last 2 or 3 weeks since the last thing, and things he's done, and things council has done, things they've attended. He'll give us all that really good marketing stuff. And then deputations presentations. Of course, they're going to be up there talking Niagara Industrial Association 5.1. Jordan Sherlock, ED, is going to get up to make a deputation to council, providing an update on the industry that is happening in Niagara Falls. So that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's to advance the causes of the industry. We've lost a lot of our industry base.
We have.
Being a union member and being part of the building trades, people, we talked about this a lot, the heavy metal trades and in union settings. And we lost a lot of industry from the 1980s right to 2010. Now we're starting to build it back up. So, bravo for these guys for being a deputation to express what we need and what they can do to continue the industrial process here in Niagara.
Yeah, great to have an update because we're always looking for new industry to come in, and these guys have their finger on the pulse of the industry and who's going where and what's moving around and possibilities and the opportunities for Niagara Falls. So it's good to see that. Well, it'll be interesting to hear this gentleman speak. Number 5.2, World Health Organization age-friendly designation for the city of Niagara Falls. Support the submission. It's just he's going to give a little talk, and then they're asking us to support them, age-friendly cities and communities. When they say stuff like that, it always means old people.
Yeah, old people like where do they go? Yeah, I'm thinking of the older people than me, but anyway. So yeah, it's basically for us, and I could be happier. The more stuff they do for us, the better I'm happy with. We are an aging population, and that's one of the reasons why this has come up. Niagara is an aging population that continues to be age, and my hat's off to Karen Fraser. She's part of this. She's part of the senior advocacy committee, and so now, however, though the WHO is not the WHO, but WHO, the World Health Organization, is always embroiled in some sort of conspiracy. So now we're part of that conspiracy. We're going to get in the paper, everyone. We're going to get into the media.
Tommy, can you hear me?
You see Karen Fraser with her dark glasses sneaking around.
Yes, spy versus spy. But yeah, we'll hear what they have to say. I mean, WHO. They're not my. I'm not big fans of WHO, but we'll see what they have to say. They shoot us a couple bucks, I'll be a big fan.
Yeah, well, there's
probably the biggest fan.
Yeah, it's not going to cost anything, but there are commitments for the city. The city has to look around itself to see that it is a good place for older folk to live. And that means access and all kinds of different things that old people will need. And I think we're pretty well going that way anyway, every city. But it's nice to have that official designation from the WHO, the World Health Organization, which is kind of nice. I think it's a feather in the cap to the senior committee that's part of the city. And you see that I think Karen, I used to see her on TV, Karen Fraser, talking about senior issues. So.
She's always somewhere, Karen Fraser. She's involved all the time.
Kind of a Wonder Woman, Karen is.
Yeah, she is, amazingly. because Karen isn't getting any younger herself.
No, she isn't. No.
So there you go. Planning matters. Okay, so this is where we save a lot of time because there's only one planning matter, and that's item 6.1, 7230 Lundy's Lane. And if you remember, 7230 Lundy's Lane was the old Dairy Queen and Mini Putt, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to build 2 9-story apartment buildings with 25 units each, so 50 in total. And, I looked through this and I saw the artist depictions of the buildings. Did you see them?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, one is stepped,
They look
and the
like
other one
25. They look like 250 each.
Yeah, they look a lot bigger. Yeah.
Well, holy man, they had like these balconies and stored. I'm going. There's got to be more than 25 units in there, but they say 25, but it looks like there's like 100 in each or something like that. But
yeah, there's a few things that are a problem here, and sewer, and they're planning, and there are submissions for what is this, water and sewage is not acceptable. There's a few other things that they don't like about it. The other thing that is glaring to me, and I looked over it a couple of times, there is not one utterance of affordable housing.
And I wrote that down too. I looked at it. I said, "There's nothing about affordable housing in it.
Yeah,
Not a thing."
That is supposed to be an important thing in this town. Look, I got to hold the council accountable for this. If they want to, if they receive and let this go ahead, if all the things that are missing in the planning that have to be updated, which I'm sure they will be, where are the affordable houses? Where is your influence here? How come you haven't stipulated affordable housing? You know the situation. You know that Niagara's wealth is not what it is per capita as other cities. We are a city that is $63,000 is a good paying job for someone, and they will not be able to afford most of the stuff that I see going up. I mean, I'm part of the Kiwanis Club of Stamford, and we have 3 not-for-profit housing here. But does it always have to depend on someone like us to build them?
Well, usually they usually set aside 25% or something, or a percentage of affordable housing, because they know damn well as soon as this hits city council, somebody's going to put their hand up and stand up and say, "I don't see any affordable housing," just like you did.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear that tonight. I'll guarantee everybody out there in video land, we will see somebody stand up and mention affordable housing, and we will see an excuse, or a reason for there not being any, but they should have maybe half a dozen anyway. Right?
Well, they'll use the kind of language that can't be defined, like, "Oh yes, we have considered the affordable, and we with our calculations think that blah blah blah," and what it means is nothing. That sounds like they're going to calculate what affordable housing is, but in actual fact, it's just standard housing.
Lip service.
Lip service, exactly right.
We'll see what they say then. But my other concern with that is Lundy's Lane. I mean, this Lundy's Lane is a nightmare. We see a traffic accident every day because of the amount of traffic on there. Now they're going to add probably 100 more cars with 50 units, right? They're building at 1.4 per unit. They're meeting from what I remember, I saw the minimum that City Hall sets. They're not looking for any kind of amendment to the bylaw for that. But it's still another 100 cars going in and out of there, who knows how many times a day. And it's a nightmare, Lundy's Lane, as it is. So, I just got to really watch this, because there's not a real good solution for Lundy's Lane as far as fixing it. All the businesses are right on the street. We don't have room to really expand it to another lane, or to put in a center turning lane or anything fancy schmancy like that. I've told them how I want to see it done, but they don't listen. Nobody listens to me, of course.
No, they got.
Why would they?
No, well, because in camera they have that dartboard with your face on it.
Yeah.
So they do consider you, not positively though.
They don't listen to me, but they do consider me like a pest. But anyway, that's just one of the concerns that I had. And that Lundy's Lane is always jammed with broken heroes on the last chance power drive. And
there's a young lady that just walked by with the longest cigarette I've seen. Like, and it's like what was it? They used to have the 1000s.
Yeah, the Benson and Hedges 1000s.
I think that was a 2000.
It might not even have been a cigarette. Never mind. We're in downtown here.
Yeah, that's right. It might not be a tobacco in there.
Weed. Like I say, and then I said affordable. So other than that, they're probably going to okay this. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it other than, like you said, affordable housing, and I have concerns about traffic. Always concerns in the city when they start building on McLeod Road, Lundy's Lane, Thorold Stone Road, Dorchester Road. Any of these roads are jam-packed, hard to get through, and they present a definite traffic danger. If you're driving, you have to be very careful.
From top to bottom of Lundy's Lane, too. I was just, my youngest son told me about an accident he saw. Just was yesterday, the day before, on Kaler and Lundy's Lane.
There you go.
He says he has to go past Lundy's Lane all the time to go home after work. He doesn't go through, but he has to cross it. And he says they're nuts. He says there's always something you have to watch out for there.
Mad Max, Road Warriors.
That's right.
Surround your whole car with a big steel pipe, steel tube.
I guess so.
Yeah. Screw them off the road, but get off your phones too.
That's a big one.
Get off your phones. Pay attention, you bozos. What kind of mooks are you anyway?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, so of course, what comes next after the planning matters, Dave, every week?
In camera,
pizza, wings, a couple of brewskis, and
out comes the dartboard.
And they're going in camera again. So when you're watching this, they might get through the first bunch of stuff in an hour and a half. Then it'll be 2 hour in camera meeting, and then they'll come back, and the rest should go pretty fast. So in camera, while they're in camera, I'm going to talk about my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. So you're getting near Christmas, you're getting near Halloween, and you like to light up your house. You got to climb that ladder, put these lights on, and crappy weather usually. And you say, I wish I didn't have to do this every year, but I enjoy the lights for the kids. Listen, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, give them a call. They're going to come down, put in permanent outdoor track lighting. That's it. Once they're up, they're up. You never have to worry about them again. You whip out your phone. You change it to any of the million colors that they have, combinations, orange for Halloween, red and green for Christmas, whatever you want. Built-in zones, so you can change different zones, different colors, and they're also all sealed. They're soldered together. No more wires and cords and extension cords and all that baloney. They're soldered together, impervious to dust and moisture, last a lifetime. Limited lifetime warranty, by the way. They're so confident in their product. And also, they add value to your home, and they light up all those exterior places, which are dark at night. And, you could trip and fall, have a Jimmy slip and fall. You're looking for an insurance claim when he comes to your house. So, give him a call, get him down there, get a price, and see if you can get rid of this yearly task of putting up lights. How do you get a hold of him? Colin Buckborough is the owner. 289-969-1797. How easy is that? He's going to come over, give you a quote, and away you go. And if you want to Griswold your house, they have available financing. So they've got it all at Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and you can get a hold of them at 289-969-1797. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and please support our sponsors.
Indeed. Well, I have a condo now, so I can't Griswold my condo.
No, you go by the Condo Association, Owners Association. They're like they're like the Gestapo, man. You do anything.
It's a commune. It's a commune. Yeah, it's a commune. I'm on the board. They call me the general secretary. I put my stall and my mustache on.
I'm put this nice little light here. Get that out of there. Yeah.
Ours ain't that bad.
Yeah. If you ever watched Tulsa King, you ever watch it?
No, don't watch TV.
If you watch Tulsa King, it happens to him all the time. He bought into this nice neighborhood, and he's like an ex-mob guy.
Yeah.
And every time he does something, he's got cars going in all kinds that the homeowners association come down and bug him.
Yeah.
Then they finally found out who he was, and they don't bug him anymore. It's pretty funny. So we move on to number 8.4.
Well, how about 8.1?
Oh, no. Yeah, 8.1. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I just got this piece. Look at that. So thank God you're here, Davey. City software implementation. They spend a ton of money of your money on new software that's supposed to be helping everything. And I didn't write anything down about it. I just read the report. It's really not a lot there other than telling you about the software they've implemented, and the council receives the information from this report, just telling you how it's going with their new software.
Well, the software needs to be updated. I can tell you, we found out from Lori Lococo on one of her meetings there in Chippawa. What was it, a couple weeks ago now?
Yeah, yeah.
And she told us that Burgess, the CEO, was pretty appalled by the. And of course, she didn't use those words, but I could feel that he was of the how behind City Hall was in their electronics and their communications and all those things. They're outdated, and I believe it because what about 15 or maybe as much as 20, but at least 15 years ago, at least 20 years ago or whatever, the municipal works were still using carbon papers and triplicating their stuff. They didn't have computers set up.
I heard to send messages from one to the other. They were using carrier pigeons too.
Yeah, and if they were close by, it was drums.
Morse code and smoke stink signals from the pollution plant.
So this is very much well needed. However, we have found problems already. Although this is very well needed, and it is very expensive, I think it's $800,000 it mentions there, they have had trouble getting it in. Data transfer is one of the big problems. In taking the data from an old system and then transferring it into a new system. And they've had team leaders leave. They've had staff leave. They've had staff leave on from City View, and it appears from the city itself. And they have resistance to change, which you are always going to get. And they haven't. They need more people. They need more people to implement this, and they don't have the money for it. And this, in a couple different places, I find this. What Burgess has said earlier, that the money that we use for the fire department is imposing too many strains on other aspects of the city, where they can't get enough staff and they have to reduce or minimize their abilities in other aspects of the city in order to make sure that the city or the fire hall gets what they want, the fire department gets what they want. And this is coming out as true, as he's saying, well, we had to go minus 2% here, minus 2% there, so the city fire hall or city fire department could get what they wanted. And I see this popping up. And there's another issue a little later on. We'll talk about the same thing. It is we need it to improve efficiency. Of course, we have to be in the 21st century. Enhanced data management and supply, so you can understand the reasons why it's really good. Now, the problem, of course, is implementing it. And they need training and development, full-scale implementation, evaluation, feedback. All this has to be done. And I'm trying to get to the point where it says where the problem is. It says where it tells you the problems are. And one of them is just there is resistance among staff and not enough people trained, and people who have the know-how have left. So they have to wait for these things to be implemented. Although it all seems to be what is needed. So we are, by allowing ourselves to get too far behind, we find it a difficulty getting back to where we should be. So this is a little bit of a point here where we shouldn't let ourselves get so far behind next time. And I still can't find it, but anyway, what Burgess had said. Go ahead.
Yeah. The one question I have only to Jason Burgess is, didn't you know this before you decided to make this change? I mean, he had to know this was going to be a problem to get all this data over. I mean, that's the first thing I would say is, like, how are we going to do all this? Do we have the staff? Do we have to hire a team to come in and move it over? Or, what is actually involved in doing all this? And I figure that he's the one who put this in and knew and wanted to do it. He talked about it a few years ago. And he didn't investigate what it would take to do it, whether it's personnel or whether it's time or whether it's the right people to do it, and how much has to be moved. I mean, these are things that should be answered before you step into a big swamp like this, right?
Well, I think he got broadsided. Particularly, here's what it says about challenges, implementation challenges and outcomes, and it says loss of City View project managers. So City View itself has lost some of its managers. Okay, they have to be replaced. That takes time.
Oh, the company that they bought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he got
Okay.
broadsided with that. And he also got broadsided with loss of project lead and building staff. Boom, boom, boom. There's another major component there. I don't think he counted on either one of those two. So those are two giant broadsides to the implementation here. Then, of course, the usual ones, day-to-day staff work. They have to find room and time and for the training and all that. Resistance to change, you will always get that. However, the only thing that doesn't change is change itself. So that, and data migration issues. That is a big deal with all computer systems, it seems to me. When you implement a brand new system and you try to migrate the data from an old system to a newer one, and the older that system is, the harder it is. So we've allowed ourselves to get too far behind, and now we're trying to catch up, and that's going to cause delays. And finally, training gaps. They need time, and they need more staff, basically. And the resources for other than the primary source, which is the fire department. And I got nothing against the fire department, but this is what Burgess says, that it would impinge on other aspects of the city because there's so much money going there that it's decreased their abilities to find talent in the other spots.
Well, there you go. And, he's right on that regard because at the end of the day, went from one CRM to another CRM before, and all the data from the one CRM to get it into the new one is time consuming. If you've got 1,000, customers on a small business, you're going to move all of them over with all the notes and all the information and everything. It's not just a click a button, like getting a new phone, right? You put the two phones together, you click a button and it transfers everything over. It doesn't work like that when you have older systems to newer systems or systems that run on different type of formats. You might be able to do some of it like that, but a lot of it has to be manual. I mean, it's got to enter it in. Once you get it in there, you're fine, and then you can update that system as you go, rather than letting it go for, like you say, 20 years and then not looking at it and say, "Oh, we got to move to a new system."
Well, it's like changing archaic language to modern language. If you try to translate Old English into modern English, it would take quite a while because the archaic system and language means are so much different that it takes time to translate. And it's pretty much the same thing.
Carpe diem. No.
What's that?
Carpe diem. Seize the day.
Yeah.
8.2, Community Sport and Recreational Infrastructure Fund. If you want to see what's going on with that, this is a good one to listen to, see what they say. There's a couple of stages, Stream 1 and Stream 2 for money. The one is to recondition some of the buildings like the McBain Center, and then to actually build a new Chippawa Arena and use the old one for different things. And this is like a catch-22. The choice is to refurbish or redo, build new. And I mean, the McBain Center, we're going to refurbish it. It's relatively new, of course, so they're going to spend the money to do that. But the Chippewa Arena, do we keep that old barn and try to make it work, or do we get rid of it, build a new one and get rid of it for once and for all and use the old one for different things like different groups or activities? And the thing is that the provincial government, I think it's a provincial or federal government, they're going to cough up some cash to be able to do this, like about $11 million towards the Chippewa Arena. So we got to look at it and say, well, okay, a new arena is going to cost us $30 million. They're kicking in 10 of it, so it cost us 20, and then they're kicking in $1 million to a revamp. So if we have to do it 10 years from now, if we do a retrofit, then then we're going to be on our own. We might not be able to get this money, so pay me now or pay me later. And I don't know as much as I'd like to know about it, but it always seems to me that, they do it with vehicles for the city. It costs more to maintain than it's worth to just go out and buy a new one. And I think that's going to be the discussion. And it's going to be an interesting discussion because there's a lot of taxpayer money involved in doing these things. We saw it with the exchange for 17 million. Do taxpayers want to spend another, 20 million bucks on this stuff?
Well, it has to be done. You don't have a library in Chippawa. The old arena there is now gone past its prime.
Yep.
It has to be replaced. You need arenas. You need places like that. So this is an ambitious project. McGain Center, of course, the mechanical stuff, the HVAC system, all has to be brought up to industry standards, and you can't use the R22 anymore. If you want to try to find the R22 refrigerant, you can't even find it. So that has to all be replaced, and it has to be new. So that, yeah, you can figure that one out. It's pretty good. McBain Center is a very useful place. But the other one is very ambitious, and I believe that you're going to need it as well. And I think what they're going to do is build a new single pad arena adjacent to the existing facility,
right,
on property owned by the city.
Yep.
And it says here, new fully accessible arena designed to ensure everyone, regardless of the physical ability, can participate fully and comfortably. 10,000 square feet library branch that will improve community well-being, education, access to information, and promote lifelong learning. Multi-purpose rooms for community use. Refurbish existing arena structure to accommodate indoor sports activities. Example, gymnasium, turf fields, and courts, etc.
That's going to be really nice. It's going to be new, up to standards as far as disability and accessibility goes. A new library in there, which we don't have in Chippawa right now. They had to shut down the old one because of problems with the infrastructure and accessibility as well. I don't know. Like, I'm not a big guy to spend money on nonsense. You know that. I always cry about pickleball and ghetto domes and stuff like that. But this is something, a lot of kids will use. It'll generate a bit of revenue for tournaments and that. It's one of those things that you want to have. Now, can they do the same thing at the Gale Center? I guess they could. I mean, if they didn't want to build this, just tear the old one down to refurbish it for events and stuff in there that they talked about. Put the new library in the old one. I mean, you could have a library in there. You don't need ice to have a library. And then just tell these groups to go to Niagara Falls, to the Gale Center.
Or the league in Timbuktu.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, this is a really tough one because my heart is with the kids in hockey. I went to minor hockey. I played minor hockey. I know more kids go to minor hockey than old people go play pickleball. So to me, the money's worth it. And I think Chippewa deserves something like this. We're growing out that way. For them to have to drive all the way to Niagara Falls. I know it sounds like a lot. It's not that big of a deal, but when you're getting up at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning to take your kids to hockey practice, it is a big deal. By the time you get here, and go home, I mean, it's a 2 hour ordeal, 3 hour ordeal.
Yeah, and I would say that I kind of bum them. They're taking out all the places I played hockey. Stanford's no longer there. Niagara Falls
no longer
Arena's there.
Chippewa's
now is gone. Oh my God! I got to go all the way back to Scarborough to find a rink that I used to play on.
So this is going to be a good discussion. And if they said we're going to do it, I would not be complaining about it. If they say we're not going to do it, I would not be complaining about it. I would just, wonder, as much as we look at Niagara Falls and we say nobody's proactive, they always react. And like these bridges over the railway that splits the city in half should have been built 30 years ago because they were only 10 million a bridge to build. Now they're 50 or 60 million. You always look back and hindsight is 2020. Well, in this case, if we do it right now, we won't be looking back with hindsight being 2020. So
we are reusing the existing facility. That is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now the structure, actually the bones of the place are probably pretty good. It just wouldn't be suitable for an arena anymore. So the bones of the structure itself is good, and so that can be reused. So kudos for that. Now the investment that we're making into another arena and a library and all the other facilities that come with it, like McBain basically building, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and they're suggesting that council approve it. This would be staff, I guess. So we'll see what they do.
Yep, we'll see.
We'll see what they do. That's going to be a good one to watch. 8.2 tonight. 8.3 Santa Claus parade request for downtown BIA. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. These cheapskates are being put to bed and they're spending money to actually have a parade this year and light up Queen Street, which I was mad at last year because we are the city known as the Festival of Lights. We're the biggest one in Canada. In Niagara Falls, you go downtown, there's one moose with his head crooked and no tail, and that's it for lights in downtown Niagara Falls. What a slur on the downtown and the businesses here. We're correcting it, and I'm happy, joy to see it, Davey.
I'll be the devil's advocate. It's cost too much money. The city's in debt. Why are we spending money on this old-fashioned religious festival? It's long gone. Oh, no, it's going to offend all our other people, our new Canadians, and all that other stuff. And it deals with Santa Claus. That's actually an invention by the Coca-Cola Company. So there's my take.
Well, there we go. Scrooge McDuck in the show today in the studio. But you know what? I mean, $15,000 they're spending. Hey, so. But I'm glad, though. We're the Festival of Lights. Everybody in the city is encouraged to go out and put up lights. They have a contest, the Sparkle Awards, for the best lights at Christmas and all that. And then you come downtown, and it's like Mad Max, like no lights. It's like a Cuba right now.
Well, and, maybe they can employ glowstone lighting to light up the whole downtown.
Should.
Yeah.
Get Colin down there. He'll fix it up. You'll never see anything like that in your life with all these lights going. But $15,000 to put them up, and it's probably mostly I would say it's probably a lot to do with the parade, and the lights are sitting right down here on 3 containers at the end of Park Street. They just got to jimmy open the doors and get them and put them back up that they used before. So I mean, I like to see downtown lit up. The businesses, it helps them. We got the University of Niagara Falls here with there's some 30 or 40 students or whatever it is there. It makes it look nice, and businesses decorate. So why shouldn't the city help them out?
Yeah, I actually, I'll come back to normal here. I'll take away my Scrooge McDuck and my devil's advocate, and I'll say, yeah, it's good for the kids. Santa Claus, grade A. Every kid likes that.
Yeah.
And it's a good family event where the citizens of Niagara Falls can get together and maintain our traditions and have a good time. And lighting up downtown, I agree with you 100% on that, even though it will cost us a little bit more. But it should be. This Niagara Falls, downtown Niagara Falls is sometimes pretty dreary. So if you light it up, it's going to be nice.
I love it. And there's some things I like spending money on. And that's one of them. So we got 8 point. What's the next one here? 8.4. We got.
8.4. Yeah, the vacant. Yeah, the proposed vacant.
Yeah. Now that one there, I'm so happy about because I've had it with these boarded up buildings, these absentee landlords who don't give a good god dang. I'm not going to swear. Good god dang. About these buildings here, and they let
fill
them
in the blank.
And then these guys break in. And they light fires and it puts the firemen at risk with these old buildings that are falling down. So listen, it's time for these guys to either take care of their buildings and close them up, seal them up right, or pay a fine if they don't. And I like it. I like whatever it has to say in there. I read it all. And it's a good thing. And it's a vacant building registry so they know who owns them and how to get a hold of them. And I think it's long overdue, Dave.
Yep, and there's 144 buildings they know of right now that are vacant, and they are deteriorating. Sometimes they're quite a danger to the population. Of course, you talk about people breaking into them and so on as well. But there's all kinds of things that can happen in a vacant building, including pests, building up of pests and stuff like that. Reducing the how much market value their neighbors have. Because it's a dilapidated building right beside them.
Good point.
And it's just that we're trying to encourage them to repurpose this land, either in business or in residence. We have 144 vacant areas, and we have a housing crisis. Well, either repurpose those buildings for residents or businesses, or just knock them down and rebuild something else, whatever you want to do. But right now they are a drain on the city, and they are And of course, we have still, of course, in this again, we don't have enough staff to take care of this. So we're going to have to train more staff and hire more staff. And that's going to be a problem because, as I said before, most of the money is going towards the fire department, and Burgess has warned us that they don't have enough money for the other functionings of the city, and so we either have to find more money somewhere, or be a little bit more prudent on how we spend things. We need this is an important thing. We do need to train more people to do this. We have to incorporate it in part of our city, and presumably the city view system that they're bringing in will have this included in it. But still, we have this problem of how can we enforce it? It's a good idea. Is it enforceable?
I hope it is. And they want to, I think I read in there, they're going to hire a couple of junior bylaw officers or something like that that go around and concentrate on this kind of stuff and get the register and find out who the owners are and do that kind of thing, which is great. And they figure the fines that'll come out of this will pay their wages, which is fantastic. And they're also talking about fire calls to these places. Somebody's going to pay for our firemen to go there on these calls. And also they were talking about false alarms. As far as these buildings that pay for false alarms, there's a lot of false alarms in this city where our firemen go out, they look around, there's nothing going on, some idiot pulled the fire alarm or something like that, and they're going to have to start paying for this stuff.
Yeah, the vacant buildings that keep this up, they're going to have directly charged for it. You can understand if your house or my house came on fire, there was a short circuit behind the wall, we didn't know it. The fire department comes, we limits the damage to our place and saves the houses in and around it. That's what the fire department is for. But have a vacant building where nobody is present and nobody can phone 911 at a critical time, or anything of that kind, or even have smoke alarms or fire systems, sprinkler systems inside the buildings. That is to detriment of the city. And if you have a building such as that, you should be fined, or at least charged whatever the cost was of the fire department coming there.
Yeah, and on that note, I'm going to go to my third sponsor, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Feel like having a pizza tonight? Go down and see Mike at Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. You are not going to believe how good their pizza is. I'm a pizza snob, and I like it. That says a lot for Mike's right there. And I told Mike that if this pizza wasn't up to my standards of pizza, that I wouldn't let him sponsor the show.
Oh, the ones was smothered with pineapple?
That's a no-no right there. But you can get that. He does have the Hawaiian pizza. But Mike worked in an Italian restaurant for 15 years, and they used the Mancini family recipe. Mancini's started the Pete's Pizza franchise 40 years ago in the Niagara region. There's a few stores around here. And he knows how to get the perfect blend and the perfect ratio of cheese to sauce on the pizza, which is really important. He also knows that you have to use good mozzarella, use the Saputo, and mix it with brick cheese. And that's a secret to good pizza, believe me.
You just gave it away to all the other pizzerias.
Yeah, well, they got to sharpen up their act now.
I guess so.
Let's go. And also he uses cornmeal on the bottom, which is, to me, cornmeal is the top of the heap. That's why you make good pizza. So what do they got going on down there? Poutine, subs, everything. They name it. They got a full menu. You don't have to just get pizza if you don't want. You can get all kinds of things down there. And for your consideration, think about this. He's extended his hours for your convenience. Midnight on Sunday through Thursday, he's open till midnight. Very few restaurants and pizza joints are open till midnight anymore. When we were kids, they all used to be open. And also on Friday and Saturday, he's open till 2 a.m. So you get a couple of wobbly pops and a couple of smoke 'em up bosses, and you're getting a little of the munchies. Hey, you can call Mike at Pete's Pizza. How do you get a hold of him? 905-374-2222, or go to Pete's Pizza Victoria. Do I have that right? I always get that wrong. Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca. I believe that's it. I better look it up, though. I got such a bad memory. Pete's Pizza Victoria. I got it right for the first time in the history of it. And you just order online. Very convenient. So there you go. Yeah. Pete's Pizza. Support our sponsors. Grab yourself a pizza. You know you want one. Because I always do every day.
I want one right now.
I know. I do every morning. I usually have pizza, believe me. But I didn't have any. So Now I got to take advantage of Pizza. They're special on Victoria Avenue. 2 medium pizzas for $25 with 3 toppings on each. How can you beat that?
Sweet.
That runs to the end of the year because it's their 40th anniversary, and that's how they're celebrating with their customers.
Cheaper to buy a pizza than go grocery shopping.
It is.
Might as well buy pizza every day.
Well, by the time you buy the dough and the pepperoni and the mushrooms and whatever else you want on it and the sauce, it's not cheap anymore to do that. So that's a pretty good price, really, for 2 medium pizzas. Buy one, eat it, freeze the other one for tomorrow. Ellen Paul from Your City, Your Voice Central. Okay, Hiram Street, 9.1. This is a part of the consent agenda. They usually do all these at once, and people put up their hands if they don't agree. Hiram Street, if nobody knows where that is or what that is, well, that's over by Ontario Avenue, and it's the street that runs
parallel to River Road.
That's right, and it runs Ontario Avenue runs straight through into the new casino, and they blocked it off. The old casino, right? And they blocked it off because of traffic concerns when they opened the 1996. They opened Casino Niagara.
Yep, I was a part of it. I was the one that brought the issue to City Hall. I was the one that spoke at City Hall for that issue. And my neighbors and I got what we wanted and got that road blocked off. Now they don't need it anymore. They'll take it up.
And they did a pilot study over the summer to see what the repercussions of opening it up were. And it went fine. That's why they're now saying to open it up permanently.
Well, they might find a little bit later, or they might not. But it doesn't have the same kind of traffic when it was the only casino. When it was the only casino, you had buses running down that street, and buses picked up Ontario easily on Otter because it's a angular street and it's easy to turn onto and off of. And so you'd have bus after bus going down there. You have traffic like crazy going down there. So that's why my neighbors and I decided to put that proposition, and the people of Hiram too wanted it as well. So we put that block up there. Now it's the opposite. Now they don't need it, and although the traffic sort of quadrupled, I think from 30 to 230 cars per day or whatever, it still doesn't seem to be a problem. However, it does say that they wanted to open up to all forms of transportation. So if buses and stuff start rolling down there again, you might have people of the area complain once more.
Yeah, and then they'll just probably prohibit buses.
Yeah,
which is smart. And I mean, it's a nice little thing for people in the city. They take that little Batman entrance into the back of the casino there. A lot of places would take, Victoria Avenue and go in, and there's 2 entrances. Now they open up a new one on Victoria Avenue on Walnut Street that goes into the casino as well. So they've rejigged all the roads and that since they first opened. So I think that's why I don't think it's going to be a big problem. But if it is, they can just ban big trucks and buses if it gets to be a pain in the neck.
Well, it was a problem because people raced down there to get to the casino, and there was a park there. There's a park right close to Ryerson Street there, Ryerson, Ontario.
Yeah,
that's where my kids were always playing in, and people just fly by in there, even if they had stop signs and whatever. And the buses, of course, were a problem because they don't stop too easily, but the way people drove back in those days, like it was a problem. They were just zooming down that street to get into the casino. So, and it was all day long when it first opened. So,
yeah, it was a big deal.
So now it's no longer required. But I'll shout out to my old neighbors and that. We did what we needed to do, and it lasted for 25 years. And thank you very much.
Yeah, good. And if it becomes a problem again, believe me, they'll be back. 9.2, wastewater, Q2 fund budget to actual variance unaudited. So I read through it, and my comments were, looks like a favorable report for the first 2 quarters of 2024. We'll see how it all works out to the end of the year. And basically, what they're anticipating on spending, what they're actually spending, it seemed to all jive. I didn't see anything in there I was really concerned about for the first half of the year. I don't know about you, Davey. You might have saw something different, but that's my take on it. And they'll discuss it, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've got no comment.
No comment until the time limit is up.
Yes.
But yeah, so I don't see anything. I didn't see anything outrageous in the numbers or anything. It looks like they're on track. So we'll see. We'll see at the end of the day. I know my water bill isn't getting any cheaper. 10.1, here we go. Recommendations. About 10.1, proclamation requests 16 days of activism against gender based violence. Well, I don't care about gender based. What I care about is violence. I do not want to see violence against anybody. I don't care if it's gender based or anything based. You know, that's not the way you want to live it, and with people running around attacking people and for anything. So let's not have violence. Let's get along. Can we all just get along?
Yeah, this is mostly, no, I put it down, mostly directed to missing, murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two Spirit.
Yeah, stop it.
So, yeah. But of course,
Come on.
the lion's share of this is violence towards women. Now, a lot of the Indigenous women, of course, are find themselves in sex trafficking, right? Right.
I thought I saw transgender there. That's why I mentioned it, but it's gender-based violence.
Yeah, it's
And that
gender-based
includes transgenders too.
Yeah, well, they added that Two
yeah.
Spirit,
Yeah,
Two Spirit there, but
yeah. So there you go.
but Two Spirits usually just mean bisexual or something
Whatever.
like that. Yeah.
No, no violence. Don't bother with people if you don't like with the way they live. Leave them alone.
Yeah, violence is, and unfortunately for Indigenous women, they get it on the reserve and they get it off the reserve.
Yeah.
They're always in a very vulnerable position, and a lot of psychos sort of target them because you've got a young lady turning tricks on the corner. She's probably stoned. Who else is easier to take advantage of? So yeah, you definitely measures have to be taken. Now this is a demonstration the last 16 days. I don't know how effective it will be of changing anything, but let's hope it does.
Well, now they want to put wrap encourage flag purple. They want to raise that. No flags. Please don't get me going about flags. No. But if they want to wrap everything in red, they want to wrap something in red here.
Or red dresses. Red dresses
sure,
hung from trees in areas in and around the city.
Hang
that
red
represent.
Dresses.
Yeah, that's a representation, particularly of
Go
Indigenous
ahead. Hang
women.
the dresses, but please do not raise a flag. No flags for anybody. That's got to be the rule. And I don't even know hanging red dresses. I mean, even that, like, you know, then they want to hang purple ones for Prince's birthday. Who knows?
Well, I saw this. I didn't have much objection to it, but then I keep thinking, well, there's got to be some kind of guide out there because you need orange for this, you need red for that, you need purple for this, and I lose track of what means what. There's so much symbolism out there, so I don't know if it's for the people who are in the know. When you see purple wrap flag or whatever, they know what that means, but most of us don't. We have to remember what it is. So I don't know how effective, but symbolism is very effective, but there's so much of it out there now. But anyway, the core base of this is to make sure that the world is a safer place for women, but particularly Indigenous women. I think all women need to be protected, actually.
Yeah.
When a young man gets to be 16 years old, he has the power to overpower half of humanity. Basically, he's stronger than almost every woman he'll ever see.
I know a couple that could take him.
Yeah, well.
Oh yeah.
Well, there'd be a few, but on the most part, you know, almost half of humanity, except for those two. Yeah. So there's that. There's something that we have to realize that men in particular have to be very, very cognizant of the fact that women are vulnerable in our society, physically vulnerable, and any kind of reminder we have of that is good for us.
12.1 Communications and Comments of the Clerk. Shepherd's Heart Food Bank. They won $18,500 because they can't make their food bank work. They're running short on food and they don't have money to buy it and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we have projects here. We have a lot of these accredited places we give money to as a city and support. Now you're going to have these ones popping up and they're coming for money. And I, you know what, I would just say, no, if you can't make it work, sorry. We appreciate what you're doing, but you got to make it work. You can't have taxpayers funding that. They're already funding enough. So I would say no to this, and not because I'm a meanie or or I don't understand what they're doing or what they're trying to do. But I think some of this has got to be supported by themselves. They said they had 100 members in the church. Now they only got 20, and they can't raise any money. And that, well, you know what? You got to have to find a way if you want to continue it on. If it's not working, it's not working.
Well, they've been Project Share has put our information, it says in the letter, on their list of resources for food and clothing to clients, but don't get any of the funding they do or anywhere near the donations they do. So even though they're being sent by Project Share or probably other groups to try the church, the Shepherd's Church, they're not getting that. So I'm kind of with you in a sense that, yeah, once one church starts to apply for funding, almost everyone else will too, because there is never enough, and that problem is growing huge. And there's just not enough money going around. My own club, the Stanford Kiwanis Club, has given generously the soup kitchen $10,000, $12,000 last year, but we couldn't give them anything so far this year because of the demand of other areas in the community. So we have we give out to and Project Share is another one we had to miss so far this year too because of the demands and other aspects of the community.
It's tough out there.
So I can see why they applied to the city as a source of revenue, but that's one. Once one does, then others will. So it has to depend on private donations, I'm afraid.
You say to one, you say yes to one, you say yes to all. And I think Jason Burgess, the CEO, has got up many times and said, like, we can't give, we got to rethink our grants and that kind of thing because we just don't have the money. And so, sorry, you have to make it on your own. I mean, that's it. Let's see. Downtown committee appointments. Yeah, that's not a problem. We're going to appoint people to the downtown committee. Council's going to complete ballots to select members of the downtown committee. So people put their name in. They're going to be stakeholders and other people included, and they're going to, I guess, select who they want to be on this committee they've formed.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
That'll be interesting. A ratification of in camera. Yeah, okay. Now, no motion of new business. Notice of motion. Notion of motion from Councillor Laurie Lococo regarding the provincial government increase heads and beds levy for Ontario municipalities. Now, I never heard of this before, so I really go, well, I got to look this up. And basically, these heads and beds is to compensate cities that host universities or colleges, detention centers, hospitals, and basically the province compensates the cities for hosting these facilities because of increased use of services, whether they be hospital, roads, everything they use, right? And I said, oh, I never knew this, but it's $75 a head. They want to jump it up to $165, $165 a head because it's woefully low. And St. Catharines gets $100,000 a year for this because they have Brock University and stuff.
Yes, and one of the things that Larry brings up is it has not been redressed for a very long time.
Yeah.
1987 was established, and yet it hasn't been redressed properly. And she says we get $75 per bed. Like I said, or like you said, that was for universities, for students, for hospitals, for places of incarceration. The cities need to be recompensed, but the problem is that it hasn't been redressed, and I don't think that the province is going to be too happy about the new levy, but we'll see.
Well, I have one question about this, Dave. Yeah. Now, we host refugees, and lots of them, 5,000 in this city.
Yep.
They're using our services, they're using our roads, they're using our schools, and they are, what's the difference between them and, say, students at a university?
Nothing.
So why are we getting compensated for these people? And that's my only question about this.
I don't know if we are. Maybe we're getting something from the feds. Are we? Is the city getting anything from the feds?
That's what I asked Laurie. I said, it only makes sense that if we're going to get this, I asked about the University of Niagara Falls. She said it's a private institution, and that's not included in it. It's public institutions that they talk about.
Oh.
And I said, okay, fair enough, but what about the refugees in the hotels here? and she said she was going to look into and ask about it. And I just think that would be fair. I don't know whether it'll fly or not, or what's going on with it, but I think it'll be fair. It would be fair. Prisons are federal institutions, aren't they? Or are they provincial?
I'm not sure if they can. I know there are federal ones. I think probably they're both. Like in the states, they have state prisons and they have federal prisons.
Like Kingston,
you know what?
Millhaven, they're all federal.
Yeah, I think they're federal. Yeah, because they can be transferred. Like Bernardo was transferred from Ontario to Quebec. Yeah. Obviously, is a federal prisoner.
Now you do have the local ones like the Thorold Hilton, right?
Yeah. So good for malcontents and do-batters or evildoers, because they go in there during the wintertime when it's cold. So they'll do some minor crime, go in for 3-4 months, get 3 squares a day, stay out of the cold, and come back out.
And I'm going to be watching this. I'd like to hear what they talk about. I never even knew about this, to be honest with you. I had to look it up and delve further into it. And then I talked to Lori about why aren't they giving us money for the refugees. So we'll see what they come up with. To me, that's going to be an interesting item right there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, now 14.2 is a notice of motion from Councillor Mona Patel regarding access to affordable transportation. And basically, she wants to give free bus trips. And we already are looking at a 6% increase for taxpayers this year for the transits, running at a deficit. So she wants to give free bus trips. And this is a tough one because we're already running at a deficit to give free bus trips because people can't reach food banks. They don't have transportation. And I don't know, is this really a huge problem? Isn't this a big enough problem to offer free rides? I don't know. I don't know about this one. I'm going to have to listen to what the debate is about this one, but I just can't see it free rides at all when we're paying 6% more and the transit is running at a deficit as it stands. They want to raise prices, not give them out free. I mean,
well, I suppose you can get a card, somehow manage to get a pass or something like that if you happen to be a person in a stress condition.
Yeah, they have that.
Yeah. So, but they'd have to go down and apply for it. And whether or not this is a good idea or not, I doubt it. I mean, it sounds good on the surface, but if you drill down, I think it has problems.
Well, we'll see what they talk about. Maybe sometimes when there's a motion there, the counselor will get up and explain it a little bit more, and then you'll say, "Oh yeah, okay, I get it." Right? So, I hope that's it. But on the surface, I would say we're already in a deficit position. We don't want to. We're getting a 6% increase on transportation, probably on transit, regional transit. Do we really want to be giving anything away free at this point? I mean, when times are good, maybe, right? Well, how big of a problem is it?
What we could do is make fares cheaper to try to inspire people to use it, the transportation system. They did that for seniors. It didn't really work. All seniors were able to get on for $1 or nothing or something. But I think probably what they have to do is reduce it and find ways of encouraging people to use it. Because if you use it, then it starts to pay for itself. What you want to do is customize your people to use public transportation like they do in Europe. When I was in Portugal, I was overwhelmed the ease of which you can get from town to town, within towns when you get there. There are buses, there's tram lines, electric buses, big, huge electric buses. And everything, you jump on a train and you can go to the most remote part of the country. You can find a way there in public transportation. However, we don't have that here, except in the big centers like Toronto or something like that. So I don't know how we can improve our transportation system and which to encourage people to take it. We'll find out.
Now, 15.1 is the motion, maintenance of city and regional roads. Well. Yeah. The mayor's a few years late to the game, but he finally got there.
He's been listening.
Residents have been complaining about the state of the city and its roads for years, and finally the mayor has acknowledged, yes, we have a problem and must beautify the city. It's time to earmark funds every year for this. And it looks like Jimmy's bought into My thing now, all he's got to say is he's going to commit $100 million over the next 5 years, just for roads, and another $2 million for to clean up the city. Then I'm really going to be happy.
Are you going to give him any? Is he going to give you any money for you coming up with that idea?
Yeah, I get the consultation fee.
No,
Probably about 150 grand for consulting
seriously.
on this. Yeah, seriously. And I think you were in on it. I might give you 10 grand of it.
Well, I'm really pumped now.
It's what city residents.
I would have settled for a plate of wings, but the $10,000.
Well, it's what the city and residents and visitors deserve: a clean city, a safe city, a city with good roads. And my only opinion is, my only ask of all this is to fix the jawbreaker first. And that's that part of Portage Road from Chatters to Thornstone, where you actually lose teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Grandma lost her teeth. She didn't get run over by a reindeer. She lost her teeth on the jawbreaker.
Well, if you notice there's a couple of dentists on the way, I think they don't want it fixed.
No, the dentists are going to be sad, and the car repair guys are going to be sad. But
the dentist lobby will step in. Do not repair that. Here's money for your campaign.
And the other bylaw here, the other ones are just, they're just going to approve them. I think maybe some will be pulled out, but the bylaw to provide for the adoption of Amendment 1 to the City of Niagara Falls official plan, St. Paul Avenue build. Well, they've already talked about that. Amend bylaw for the St. Paul Avenue build. There's a couple things in there. Bylaw to impose fees and charges for service and activities provided or done by the fire department. We already talked about that. They should, of course. Bylaw to provide for the adoption of Amendment 173 to the City of Niagara Falls official plan about Ferguson Street. We already talked about that last time. They're going to approve that. Use of lands for two-story apartment dwellings on Ferguson Street. We already talked about that. They're going to okay that. Bylaw enforcement officers. Yes. We already talked about that. And the other one is a bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the actions of the City Council at its meetings held on 22nd of September. They're going to ratify that. And that brings us to the end of the agenda. I think they should be done this by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it should be a quick one. That in-camera thing still irritates me. And I think it irritates just about everybody else, too. The meeting starts, and then you got to put your TV on hot pause or your YouTube on pause and wait forever for it to come back on again.
Yeah.
But I think they should actually take the in-camera meeting out of the regular process. I think it just makes more sense that way. It will facilitate more people being able to watch or listen to the proceedings. And that's what you want. You want public exposure. You want the public to take interest. But if you clog it up with tedious zones of silence like in-camera meeting, it's discouraging.
No, it's funny because last meeting, all of a sudden, Mayor Jim has decided he's going to go by the book with meetings. Like, you can't question until this, and you can't blah blah. Is that a statement or a question? And, he was running off, and he took more time baloneying around with this crap, right? It made the meeting even longer. Get rid of the deputations, get rid of the awards, get rid of the in-camera out of the business meeting.
Give the mayor 5 minutes, so that's all.
Yeah, you only got 5 minutes. Well, that never happens. People, they get these guys up there, but let's get these meetings within 3 or 4 hours. And there's no reason, if it's too long, you can't get it done in that amount of time. If you take out the in-camera and you take out the deputations and awards, then basically, there's something wrong with you.
That's streamlined, yeah.
Then you got to have another meeting. There'll be 2 meetings that month when there's a lot of planning issues and that kind of thing. They're the ones that take up the time. You get a lot of back and forth about them, and a lot of questions for the planner, the developer, the city planner. A lot of questions to the city staff who made some recommendations and this and that. So you can understand that being a little longer.
Yeah, like the one on Lundy's Lane. It has 2 different pieces of the property, is zoned in 2 different parts. So that may take issues. And their sewer and everything that they proposed is not good. And so together there might be a long drawn out explanation there, or they have to come back with more information. So on. But
anyway, that's it. Our agenda's done. We're out of here. Thank you for tuning in. Watch the city council meeting tomorrow. It starts at 4 o'clock on NiagaraFalls.ca. You can watch it, or you can go to YouTube and watch it, or you can check out Kojigo on their local channel. They sometimes broadcast it live. We're out of here, Davey boy.
Okay, just
Good
shout
job.
out to the Ancient Mariner, Gary Wilkins. He sent me that poem the other day, and I just want to give him a shout out. That was excellent. Thank you.
And speaking of that, we always do a Remembrance Day show. Are you in for that this year?
Sure.
It's on a Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, good. On Monday, November 11th, we'll be here and we'll do a Remembrance Day show and have a minute of silence for the people we respect, the vets and the ones currently serving, the ones who gave their life, paid the ultimate price. And we'll be here to talk about that. It's always a melancholy day for me, and it's sometimes a tearjerker, because we remember these guys who fought and died for us.
Right now, I'm thinking of all the other wars going on and young men dying for I don't know what.
Yeah, and that's why they got to end. And when they that's the beauty of Trump. When they ask him about who's in favor of Ukraine or whatever, he goes, "No, I'm in favor of stopping all this crap. We don't want any more people to die." And on that, I don't think anybody can disagree with him. I mean,
that's the best thing. Trump, I don't agree with almost anything else he's ever said, but when he said that, I want the dying to stop, I said, oh, finally someone said that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I felt too. Have a good day. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. I'm here with Dave Wheeler with our City Council Agenda Review. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the thumbs up, thumbs down, give us comments, and support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. We appreciate your support, and so do they. See you later. Have a great day, everyone. Ciao, ciao. Yes.